Welcome to our Devos. This week we talked about the upcoming threat. I don't want to say it's a threat. We should be celebrating, but we talked about how there is a shift going on in our culture. And with knowing that that shift is happening, something that we can do to hedge our bets around making sure that we stay focused on Jesus is by anchoring our holiness to Jesus. And that's what we're going to talk about all week, because to tell you the truth, when we look at holiness, we sometimes think that that's subjective. And what I mean by that is we think that because we look at holiness and we think that, okay, I'm a little holier than this person, I'm holier than my non-Christian parents, I'm holier than my spouse, that we're doing well. But in all actuality, the way that the scriptures allude that we ought to be holy is by focusing on the one, the only one who could truly be called holy, and that's Jesus. Let's take a look at this idea. We want to focus on following Jesus before following people. I think the crisis in our world with celebrity pastors and pastors that you see that they have this amazing platform, they do well with Bible teaching, and then all of a sudden you find out that they're like horrible people behind the scenes, and they've done things. Like I was talking to somebody, I was out of state, and I was talking to somebody that came from a really, really big church and a big university that I was connected to, and I was asking him about how he, liked going there, and he said there was a scandal, which was a well-known scandal, was in the news. And when the scandal happened, he said, I lost my faith. And I thought about this, and it really hurt my heart, number one, because I realized that as a leader or as someone that is a person of influence in the Christian space, as small as my influence may be, that there's a possibility that there are people that are following me, and if I should do something that contradicts what faith looks like to them, it might cause them to stumble in their faith. Now, I can't tell you that that's right or wrong. I'm going to say that you should never tether your faith to any human being. But at the same time, as a leader, it's my job to make sure that my testimony is above board in a way where if somebody found out something about me, it would be more irritating than it would be like ending your faith. So with that said, you want to follow Jesus before following people. Now again, I know you're going to say, well, Paul said, follow me like I followed Christ. But remember, he's focusing, the point of that is about following Christ. So if you're looking at people that are doing well in terms of their faith, and they appear to be holy, our recommendation is that you focus on Jesus first. It's great to have people that you admire. It's great to have people that you're like, that person, it seems like they really, really genuinely care about Jesus. That's wonderful. But you have to focus on Jesus yourself. Focus on following him. Focus on what holiness looks like for him. In 1 John chapter 2, verse 6, whoever says he abides in him ought to walk in the same way in which he walked. Now, in order to shortcut that, my recommendation would be just see how Jesus walked. Look at how he interacted with people. Examine how he handles difficult conversations. Take a look at how he spent time with his Father. Figure out how he handled when he was under fire. These are some things that you can do, and if you're doing things and you're like, okay, what I'm doing, it seems like this is what Jesus would do, you have a better understanding that you're on the right path. Because if you say, well, I'm kind of following what this preacher does that I watch on YouTube, or I'm kind of following what this Christian influencer does, and it lines up with him, you got to make sure that you're lining up with Jesus first. So the way to ensure our holiness is to keep him as the focus, as I said over the weekend. Keep focusing on Jesus. Get to know Jesus. Get to understand more about Jesus. When you center on him, you anchor your faith and your holiness to him.